Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I've been making these paper beads with various bits of paper. I've downloaded some freebies from a website which I'll show you in a minute, and these have made these nice blue ones. As you can see, I've sort of touched them up with some versifying clear where there's white edges. Now this is the website, so you can have a look at that. These she's made, she does a template to make them from. These were actually wrapped around a popsicle stick and made bigger beads, but I just made a round one because I couldn't find a popsicle stick. So I've made some out of my digital downloads. This one's the paint effects one, which is like a paint pour. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. I've cut them up into 1-inch strips and then cut them diagonally to make the triangular shape you need for these beads. So I'll just show you here how I cut them. Let's get the ruler around the right way. So you cut them diagonally to make 2 triangles. I really couldn't be bothered to measure and do all the maths that are involved in making them absolutely equal. So I just did them like this, and they actually turned out okay. These lovely bright coloured ones came from this particular digital of mine, and I'll show you a few more of them. They're all different, but because they're from the same piece of paper, they all sort of match up beautifully. So that's those. A few of those I've made, and what else have I done? This was another one of my digital downloads. This was the one that started me off, really, because I wanted to make some for my Greek journal that I've been doing, and these are little ones that I made from the digital download. So they're much smaller because I cut them on the short side instead of the long side. So that's those. To wind my beads, I use these bamboo skewers, which I got from Amazon. If I can find the link for them, because I've had them quite a while, I'll pop it in the description box below. I've cut that in half to make the length a bit more manageable, and then I've also split the end with my craft knife so that I can slot the paper in. So you can either stand it down on the desk or very carefully slit it down from the top. So that made a very cheap and cheerful bead roller. You can, of course, buy them. This is the only one I've got. I think I got it in a quilling kit that somebody gave me, but it's too small for any of the beads I've been making. As you can see, it doesn't hold them properly, and then they go really skew with. So the skewer I've made has made it very easy to do any size beads on it, really. So, whoops, clumsy fingers. So you slide that into the slot, which I don't find very easy because of my shaky hand, and then start rolling. And yeah, just I find it easier to do it this way round, and you do get into a bit of a pattern with it. Oh God, clumsy. A hand of mine doesn't really want to work at all. As you can see, it's wobbling about all over the place. So it's wonder I get anything straight these days. Anyway, it's easier to see if you're getting it straight if you do it with the pattern side down when you're rolling it. Pull it off the end, and there's your bead. So I'll just do another one for you. So I'm just trimming that edge up because it's uneven, and that'll just stick out from the edge of the bead, making it look rough. So slide that in there like that. Start rolling and get it straight. As I say, pattern side down makes a better better view for rolling straight. And then I'll just use some glue stick to adhere that last bit down. And so if you want wobbly beads, you know where to come. Okay, slide it off the end, and there's your bead again. Just make sure that's all stuck down. You can of course do it with white glue or whatever glue you want, really. But with some of the others I've actually varnished them, so I'll show you that at the end. And you can stick any down, you know, any excess bits down with the varnish. The end of that was slightly crooked, so I just sort of corrected that on the end of the bead, and then put my glue stick on. Try and keep it as straight as possible. Then they're even, but it really doesn't matter that much. I didn't want it to be a chore, so as I say, I didn't measure anything, and just cut. As you can see, there's a tiny little bit at the top that I don't like, so I'm going to try and cut that off there. No, it's not going to work. The end of the thingy is getting in the way, the skewer. So I'll just take that off and cut that little bit off at the end there. And if you have got any white bits that are showing, you can dip it in to some ink and just take away the white edges. So that's that one. Next, what am I going to do next? I think what I'll do is we'll have a look at one of these other sheets and do some from that. And I think I'm going to go and do this blue and green one because I love those colour combinations together. So clearing the decks a bit so I can use my ruler. I'm going to cut all these white edges off to leave it so I don't get any white edges on my beads. So I'll cut that all the way round. The cutting knife, the craft knife, is an Amazon Basics set of 2 craft knives, which are really quite substantial, and I'll try and remember to put that in the description box below as well, because they're about $7.99 for 2 and they're going to last forever. Blades are nice and sharp, so yeah. And I'm just going to cut these diagonally straight away, not even bother with the strips, the 1-inch strips that I did before on the last one. So as you can see, I'm cutting them diagonally, and that way you get a slight variation in the beads because you start rolling at opposite ends. As you can see, that one will start with the blue, and this one will start with the green and end with the blue. So although you get all the same colours in the beads, they're a slightly different arrangement. So I'm going to cut the whole of this bit of paper up and bore you silly with it. And I don't know how many strips I got. That's 5. You don't want me to get about 12 or so this size ones. Those the bottom of those are about 3/4 of an inch, I suppose. Something like that. But obviously, if you wanted narrower ones, then you'd cut your strips accordingly. So yeah, I think it's certainly could make several out of one sheet of A4. Now, you don't have to, these, as I say, are my digital downloads, which are paint pour backgrounds, I think I called them. Again, I'll link those in the box below, but you don't need anything special. You can actually do this with magazine pages if you want to, because sometimes there are really nice colourful ones. You can't see the final pictures that are on the magazine page because they're cut so thin at the end. Yeah, magazine pictures, book pages, just plain book pages will look nice. You can stain the edges off them and they'd look quite good like that. So I haven't actually cut them all equal, so I haven't got an equal bit at the end. So I'll put that to one side. Throw away the bits that I don't want. I've got strips of paper everywhere here. And yeah, I'll show you. I did wind those up, or a couple anyway. I'll do a couple of them so you can see what they look like. So let's move that one out the way. Find my skewer. And yeah, here we go. Sometimes I find it a little bit fiddly to get that in because of my nuisance hand, but it's really not that difficult. And it just seems to be the perfect diameter to make these beads, with a nice, reasonably sized hole in the middle. I'll do another video and show you how I make some bits and pieces. I'll probably use few jewellery findings for that though, but you can just use elastic, make an elastic bracelet, or if you've got bits to make bead dangles on your journals, then you can use those. As you can see, I've glued the end of it again. I'm just rolling it around until it's all stuck down. Slide it off, and it's actually beautiful colours. I love that green and blue together. And yeah, I'll do another one. In the end, I think I do several. Make about half a dozen of them. So I'll whiz through this bit because you don't want to see me making all of them. And at the end of them, I'll stick them on a skewer, and I will put some sealant and varnish on. Okay, so I won't do any more now, otherwise I'll bore you to tears. And you can always fast forward through that last bit. A bit late to tell you that now, but you probably already have. Anyway, so I've made 8 of those, and I've still got several strips left to make a load more. So might make a bracelet out of that one, I think. So this is the bond and seal that I'm going to use. It's made by Cadence, and it's a gloss finish. So I'm going to stick them on the other end of that skewer to hold them. And unfortunately, I didn't have an awful lot left on the ends to hold it. So yeah, had fun with the varnish. I think it probably needs at least a couple of coats on them to make them really shiny, if you want them shiny, but it also makes the colours pop. I would just say that I printed on matte photo paper because the colours were so much brighter and better on the photo paper. So that's got them. Oh, they just fit on there. Got my brush. Okay. I haven't used much of this particular varnish, but I thought I'd give it a try because it's fairly inexpensive. It's acrylic, so it's water soluble, which makes it easy to clean brushes and hands and surfaces and stuff. So I'm just going to brush some on all of those. I don't think I could stand to do them one at a time. I haven't got the patience. And this is, it's also an adhesive, so if you've got any little sticky bits poking out, then you can stick them back down again. And of course I've left myself nothing to hold the stick with. So there you go, trying to hold between two of the beads. I don't do anything simply, do I? Clumsy oaf. Anyway, you get the gist. That's the main thing. So, yeah, I do love the colours of these, though. Made some nice earrings, actually. Yeah, I'll get all my bits and pieces out next time anyway and see if there's something they can't make. And I've popped them on there to dry. Right, so let's take them off the end here. They're still a bit tacky. Put that out of the way because knowing my luck, I'll knock it flying. And there's our beads. They're just a little bit tacky, so I'm just going to use the heat gun again to dry them off properly, otherwise they'll stick together. And that's when it pulls some of the paper off. And I think one of them I've done it to, but we can rectify that in a minute. Right, that's them. They're still a bit tacky, but I think they'll be okay when they cool down. There's the bit I pulled off. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of distress ink on there in a matching colour. I think it's Faded Jeans. And that's sorted that one out. So, there we go. 8 little beads. So pretty. Just love the colours on them. There's a bit more of a close-up. Right, let's put that away. This is the other digital. I'm just going to cut a couple of strips off here and make a couple of beads just so you know, so you can see what the colours are. But I'm going to stop wittering on and whack through it till we get to the beads. All I did was pick out a couple of strips where the colours were that I liked, and you can see where I'm going to cut those off. And then we go to the bead rolling. Okay, so there are the couple of strips that I've cut lengthwise, and I'm just going to wind those up so we can see what they look like once they're rolled. I just think the more colourful the paper and varied the paper, the nicer the beads turn out in the end. Although if you want the same colour, just use a coloured bit of paper, or one plain beads, I mean. Lid stuck to the glue. Just seem to be having a bit of trouble trying to glue that one. There we go. Get a grip, Thomas. Come on. That's it. Right. No, way round. Turn it round, Thomas. There we go. Right, way round. Now let's try and wind that up a bit evenly. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. Here in the UK, we've got a public holiday again today. So that's 4 we've had in May. I think it's 4 anyway, 3 at least. So they're like buses. They all come along in 2s and 3s, and then we don't get anything until August, the end of August. Okay, I'm just trimming the top of this one because there's a bit of white paper sticking out, and there you can see that one. I'll just do the other one that I've cut. Attempt to slide the paper through. There we go. Rolling it up, putting some glue on. I just seem to be making a bit of a meal of it. Oh, whatever. Okay, roll this one up then. Make sure it's all stuck down. That one's sticking up, so I'm just going to stick it. I'm not going to put any varnish on these for now. There we go. As you can see, all the colours in them, but not so much the pattern. So, yeah, they're pretty. I do like the brightly coloured ones. Okay, so here we are. All those really bright beads. Loving them. So next time, as I say, we'll make a few bits with them. And I'll leave you with them here, and hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend, well, for UK, and I'll see you soon.